Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 29 deadline stream. And it's live. Over the next 55 minutes or so, I'll be answering as many of your dilemmas as possible ahead of the 11 AM UK time deadline, which is about 55 minutes away. Before I get into your questions, let me take you through the graphics on screen, because the answer to your question may well be there, and there's every chance you'll just want to point everybody in the direction of the first 2 minutes of this video. My team is on screen, locked in, 3 transfers made for a -8. Andrew Robertson in for Connor Cody, Bukayo Saka in for Leandro Trossard, Dejan Kulusevski, give me a ginger from Sweden, is in for Rafinha, -8. I line up this week with David De Gea in goal, a back 5 of Trent, Robbo, Kieran Tierney, Rudiger, Cancelo, midfield 4 of captain Mohamed Salah, Saka, Kulusevski, Ryan Fraser, up front Harry Kane, vice captain, Foster, Breuer, Weghorst and Ramsey on the bench. Below my team, you'll see my preference for captaincy in order of preference for the top 10 this week. I truly believe Mohamed Salah is the best option. I truly believe if you're not using the chip this week and have your triple captaincy left, stick it on Mo. Ignore the rumours, just go for it. To the left of me, you'll see the schedule for the game week. That will spin round in a moment and show you the correct score predictions for all 13 games scheduled in this game week. Below me, right at the bottom on the grey ticker, you'll see next 5 fixtures for all 20 teams, and above that you'll see the benching dilemma screen, which I will take you through now. This is where 2 players are put together and there is a preference given between those 2 players in terms of who will start. The player with the tick is favoured. These run in order. Pages 1 to 4 outfield players, page 5 are goalkeepers. So on page 1 we've got Cancelo over Rudiger, over Trossard, over Breuer, over Mikel Antonio. Page 2 we've got Antonio over Mount, over Coutinho, over Jimenez, over Watkins. Page 3, we've got Watkins over Rafinha, over Dennis, over Weghorst, over Livramento. Page 4, we've got Livramento over Ward-Prowse, over Dean, over Saiss, over Ramsey. And for the keepers on page 5, when it comes round, we've got Ramsdale over Dubravka, over Sanchez, over Sarr, over De Gea. Those 5 pages will continue to spin during the stream. If you've got a benching dilemma, there's a fair chance it's going to be in that area on the screen, guys. As ever, shout out to my man on the graphics, FPL Captain. Give him a follow on the old bird app. That's Captain with a K. Right, let's get into the questions, guys. Give you the very best of luck. For the patrons viewing, I will be checking messages. If you've got anything that's vitally important in terms of information, particularly on Liverpool ahead of their 12:30 PM kickoff, DM me on Slack. Will be the quickest and best way for me to see something. I do have our patron Slack channel open and ready to assess. Right, let's go. Let's get into this. Question 1. Who's going to be first? Gavin Welsh. Message retracted. Brilliant. Edwin Gran. Pick 2 to start. Livramento, Dawson, Saiss, Breuer, Dennis. Thanks, James. Good luck. Dawson's not on the bench in dilemmas. The other 4 are, mate. I wouldn't. Dawson, no. The others I would preference above. Maito says, hi James, Rudy, Jimenez and Son out for Kane, Doherty and Kulusevski for -8 leaves me exactly enough to move Ramsey to Barnes next week and have 11 starting. Worth it. Cheers as always. Ramsey plays next week as well, mate. Just like bear that in mind is all I would say in reference to that. Harvey Barnes starts next week, so Jacob Ramsey has a fixture next week. Maybe there's a different option for you to get to a Leicester player, so wouldn't stress about that too much. Plus, obviously, once this deadline goes, you don't want to push yourself into early transfers, and should Harvey Barnes do well at Arsenal tomorrow, he's the sort of player that will get a lot of interest for next week early. So I said on yesterday's pod, I didn't particularly agree with people who were looking to move Son out for Kane for a -4. So, I mean, the advice on that would maybe be get Kula and Doherty in if that's the way you're going, but just leave it with Sonny and go against Kane. I do think Kane's a dangerous one next week in the sense that he's going to be mass captain, isn't he? He's going to be so bloody popular. So bear that in mind. But I don't agree with people for this particular week forcing Sonny out to get Harry Kane in. Next week, you could use it to spin Mo Salah to get Kane in, for example. Miena Sidom says, hey, James, would you take a hit to transfer Wout Weghorst or Breuer for Laka? Not free hit in 30. Nah, don't think I'd bother, mate. Edwin Grant says, penalty shootout with Suj, please. Yes, thank you for the reminder, Edwin. Look, now we're in a better COVID state. We can make that sort of thing happen. Who knows? We may even be able to integrate into the Gameweek 39 charity weekend in Birmingham at the end of the season. For more information on that, listen to the end of Black Box on Wednesday. Joe Gifford says, hi, James. Thoughts on Ramsey to Odegaard Martinelli for a -4. Would be a -8, but don't want that to affect my decision. Taking it in isolation. No, you're quite right. Take it in isolation. And the advice is probably, yeah, preference would be with Martinelli. Alistair Coper says, hey, mate, do you think Kulu outscores Coutinho by 4+ over the next 3 weeks? Trying to decide if it's worth a hit this week. What Villa got in 31, Wolves away. I'm going to say yes. Nicola Torco says, hi, James, would you go -4 Cancelo, Foden to Doherty and Son? This would put me to just 5 double game week players, 7 blank game week players. I currently don't have any other Spurs. Do own Saka, Salah, TAA. Good luck to you, sir. Right. I want to sum this up real simple. If you are not free hitting in game week 30 and so you're planning to run through, you've either run out the chip or you're not looking to use it, my honest advice would be take a -20. That's generally what I'd say to you. Tottenham and Arsenal will have 3 fixtures over the next 2 game weeks. They have good game week 31 and 32 fixtures. The player you might be selling might only have 1 game between this week and game week 30. So if you're sitting there with no Tottenham, no Arsenal, not using the chip this week, not using the chip next week, my honest advice to you would be take a -20. If you have 1 Tottenham and Arsenal between them, I'd say take a -16, and so on. If you're not using the chip next week, my honest opinion is try and maximise everything of Tottenham Arsenal and get it into your squad. And so if you're saying to me, should I take a -4 for, yeah, in most cases, there are rare ones where probably not. So like I think like selling Coutinho because he's got a fixture next week is not clear and obvious. But to be honest, at this moment in time, unless you're hung up about the value, even if you're selling someone like Foden is a good example, yeah, smash it out. I mean, Foden might not even play at all, right? Who knows what Pep's going to do? So the answer would be, would I do it, Nicola? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If you're running through, yeah. And I'd arguably argue that you should look at other players in your team and consider doing more. I'm free hitting in game week 30. Ludwig says, hi, James. Would you rather do James and Rafinha to Robertson and Kulusevski, or James and Ramsey to Doherty and Kulusevski? Both for a hit, not using free hit 30. Probably option. So James and been James and Ramsey, I think. Rafinha, I mean, I decided to cut my losses. I spoke about this a lot on the podcast yesterday. In terms of real concern that how bad they were, and the fact that he was sitting there basically because it was Norwich next, and I've decided to move it on personally. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Gary, I'm going to guess you're probably listening. Thanks for your message. Can you give me a bit more detail before I share that? Because I will move him out. But I need some more info on that, mate. Right, sorry. Ludwig says that's what we did. Pushkar, hi James, thanks for helping me. Can you elaborate more on why you think a -16 or even -20 is better than triggering wildcard? As covered in the DMs to you, mate, and as I just covered a couple of minutes ago, you specifically want to bench boost in game week 36. If you're trying to set up the wildcard now to bench boost 36, I think you're going to find that extremely difficult. No probs, David Beaton. Thanks for that. Right, okay. Samuel Luckhurst, who is the I will tell you who he is. He's a prominent journalist. Chief Manchester United writer for the Manchester Evening News is reporting that Dean Henderson is set to start for Manchester United today with David De Gea unwell. And as you can probably see, David De Gea is still sitting in my team. This was not part of the plan. I'd convinced myself all week long that I was going to get a goalkeeper replacement for David De Gea this week. So, I will follow up with my promise. So, David De Gea out. I am free hitting in 30, so it's not quite as straightforward for myself. But it's certainly... Do I want to play Foster at Southampton? No, I particularly don't. So, I need to make a decision in terms of David De Gea and who's going. Thanks, Gary Robinson, if you're watching. Really appreciate the messages flagging that to me. So, I can go Lloris, I can go Ramsdale, I can go Dubravka, I can go Pickford. Or, the other idea I was obviously thinking about, sorry guys, I've got to prioritise myself here. Or the other one I was thinking was Dubravka in for Foster. Leaves me 0.1 in the bank, leaves me so tight. Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of time to think about that, but I will be replacing David De Gea. I will take another -4. I don't care. Or I will go Dubravka in for Foster. Pushka says -12 for Kulusevski, Kane, or -8 for Son and keep Jimenez. What is the Jimenez situation? Rested or being rotated? Well, I think, look, he scored on Thursday, so I think it would be bizarre if he didn't start Everton tomorrow. That's my take on things. So I would expect him to play, and I think on what I saw at Leeds the other night, I mean, I will probably have Jimenez now in my free hit team next week. That would be my expectation. So I'd keep Jimenez at the moment. Lin Tian Bao says, hi James, thoughts on keeping Reece James with not free hitting in 30? I have a strong bench and may want James back in 31 anyways, but Dottie's so appealing. Good luck this game week. I would put it to you like this, mate. If you really, really want Matt Doherty, and it feels like everyone on Twitter is buying him, I'm not, but I won't put anybody off. Brilliant price, 4.7. I could get to Robertson, so that's what I've decided to do, partly because I am free hitting in 30. Is there a guarantee that Reece James is going to be back for 31? Even if he is, you got Champions League quarter-final immediately afterwards. Does he even start? And that's going to be an ongoing problem, isn't it? Because quite clearly, Reece James is critical to Chelsea in terms of the way they want to play. He's 100% first choice. And by the time we get to game week 31, assuming Chelsea go through in the Champions League, they're going to be third in the league. They're not going to finish anywhere in the league other than third, unless Man City or Liverpool have a spectacular collapse. They're not both going to have a spectacular collapse. I do not think Arsenal will catch Chelsea for third. Even if they did, that's fine, they still finish fourth. What difference it is. So they're going to prioritise Champions League. I'd sell him, personally. Dragon Josiowski says, hey James, enjoyed your 16-ish minutes black box appearance. The time flew 16-ish minutes. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, mate. Would you bench boost with Dubravka, Rudiger, Ramsey and Breuer maybe rotated? Rudiger should almost certainly start. I know that FF Scout Neil predicted that Ramsey wouldn't start for Villa. Now, I don't see that myself, but then what are you expecting? 2 points, 1 point? What's the difference? Breuer, there is an expectation and a thought process within the Southampton community that he may be rotated. Dubravka's first game is Chelsea away. I think you'd be relying on Rudiger to have a good return. I'm going to say no, mate. Bertica says, morning James, do you think Doherty outscores Robertson over the next 2 game weeks? No, because if I did, I would have bought Doherty rather than Robertson. Billy Taylor says, yo, Jimbo, hope you're well. Would you take a -4 to move Cancelo to Doherty? I have Weghorst first sub if Cancelo doesn't play. Which at -4 Cancelo to Doherty. I mean, Weghorst decent first sub. I'm not using free hit in 30. The plan would then be to get Cancelo back in 34. Which case, yep, get him in, mate. FPL Finding Glory. I'll be consistent with this, guys. FPL Finding Glory. Morning, James. Good luck with Game Week. Great content again from you and Serge. Already liked stream before it started. Thank you very much, mate. Yep, smash a like. Hit the subscribe button. We're approaching 8,000 subs on YouTube, which people keep telling me is I don't understand how it's still so low. That's because we're a podcast, really. But you won't get this on a podcast, except, can I just say to my patrons, I am recording this. You asked, I'll deliver. Dylan Ferner Rose says, hey James mate, could you pick a duo from Saka and Laka and Kulo, and Saka and Kulo? Jesus Christ, mate. Appreciate it, boss. My wife has just messaged me and said, Odegaard, cheap. Dylan Ferner Rose, hey James, could you pick a duo from Saka and Laka and Kulu? Saka and Kulu, mate. Appreciate it. Is what you're saying to me. Saka and Kulu. Static says, morning James, hope you and the fam are well. Would you do Son and Laka to Kane and Saka for a -8? Will prob captain Kane during game week 30, not free hitting? No, I think today's fixture is particularly well set up for Sonny, to be honest. Ritwick says, which one to bench out of Davis, Target, Rudiger and Breuer? Can't afford to bench more points. Lost 36 points on the bench last week. Forget last week, it's gone, mate. Out of that lot, Target double, isn't it? A Breuer for me. From that, I think I'm starting Rudiger over Breuer, and so I'd play the doublers. That's not always the case. For example, I've got Trossard on the bench in Dilemma and obviously sold him this week. I think Cucurella's not an obvious one to start with a double. I would say the Brighton players are not obvious, definite starts. I think if you've got Maupay, I would definitely start him. Other than that, they're not too obvious. It's debatable depending on the rest of your squad. But I think generally speaking, as long as they're not injury doubts, the Newcastle players you have, and even the Everton players, if you have, generally start them. Nick says, morning James, looking at going Cancelo to Robbo and Silva to Saka for a -4. Free hitting next week. Thoughts? Yep, absolutely fine, mate. Similar moves to myself, just different selling players. Stuart Bell says, morning mate, do you think Dubravka, White, Breuer and Cody is worth a bench boost? Dubravka double, White double, Breuer rotation, risk Cody. Yeah, all I'd say to that, Stuart, is I would consider a -4 for Doherty if you don't have him in place of Cody, and then you're targeting 20 points from it. But then, to be honest, Doherty would then probably go into your first 11. So who would be the weakest player from your 11 then instead? Because you wouldn't bench Doherty in the case that you had him. So what's the impact of that? Consider that. If you like it and then you then think it can get 20 points, I'm going to say, yep, go for it, mate. Luke Hopkins this morning, mate, quick and easy start. Jimenez or Foden. Cheers, all the best for tonight. I'm just trying to respond to my wife at the same time. Prefer Martinelli. I'd go Jimenez, mate. Holostamos, hello, James. Opinion on bench boost, Dubravka, Rudiger, Breuer, Kilman. Should I play or wait till 36? So what have you got there? Singulars. I mean, Kilman might not even start, mate. So it's going to be a no. It's going to be a no. Prab Noor says, hey James, should I get in Kulu for Rafinha for -4, even if I already have Son in my team, or do a -8 to bring in Kulu, Doherty, Kane for Son, Saiz, Jimenez? Quite like that one, especially if you're free hitting 30. If you're not free hitting 30, I'm less keen on that. Again, it's got a Son to Kane move in it, but the extra you're getting there of Kulu and Doherty probably makes that worth it. I quite like that. Thank you, David Hannigan. Yep, I've got the message. Much appreciated. I'm just going to have a check on my DMs, see if we've got any potential Liverpool info at this stage. My wife says, this one has more points and he sounds fancier in relation to Odegaard. Up to you, babe. I'd say baby. Up to you, baby. Sayage says, hey James, thanks for the content. Love the episode on Black Box. Appreciate all the feedback we've had on the Black Box appearance. We really enjoyed it. Quick question, would you do Cancelo and Rudiger out for Doherty and Robbo for a -8, not using free hit in game week 30? Yeah, probably would. I was considering different movements that probably meant sacrificing Cancelo or Rudiger, so yeah, I don't mind it. I'm Wilson. No De Gea today, James. He's ill. Must make you a bit more confident as a Spurs fan. Is that grapefruit she sent me? I'm in. To be honest, I'm quite confident today anyway, mate. Ritwick says JWP to Kulu or just hold JWP. Oh, I'd move that on. Kenneth Vaz says, hi James, thinking of Podence and Bowen out for Kulu and Diaz. Free hit game week 30. Have wildcard bench boost, both free hits. Thumbs up, Kenneth. Rashid says Dan James to Martinelli for -4 or Cancelo to Robertson -4. Which move is better? I'd bin Dan James. Wouldn't even be certain that he starts, to be totally honest with you. I think they'll shake it up a bit tomorrow. I do think he will start, but that's the one I'd move on. Rashid says, that's what we've done. Zaris says, I'm considering to bench boost this game week. Is Share going to play? Eddie Howe said that he did get a knock. This was straight after the game on Thursday, but thought he would be okay. Don't have any more information than that. If no, what about Davis? If I sell Share, I will only have 4.5, and I want a player who will play game week 30. Also, greetings from Greece. Then Ben Davis is your man, mate. GF, hi James, do you think Breuer starts? Personally, yes. But there's certainly doubt in the Southampton community. That is not why Breuer is on my bench. That honestly has not affected my decision. Because if I genuinely thought Breuer was going to be a substitute, I would put Weghorst as first sub. So, yes, I do think he'll start, but be aware a lot of the Southampton community at the moment are saying that they don't think he will. Right. Just checking a message I've got in. Might be some Liverpool info. Nope. Not at this stage. Pushkar says, would you take another -4 total reaches -16 to sell Jimenez for Laka? This is a bit different, Pushkar, because you've got him in 16, so that one's a no for me, mate. Garang Barot says, thanks, James, for the podcast. Who to transfer out? Dean or Saiss, Rafinha or Coutinho? Who you buying, mate? Who you buying? I mean, Dean or Saiss? Probably Saiss. Rafinha or Coutinho? Depends. Well, I was going to say it depends on your strategy. It doesn't, actually. Yeah, I'd been Rafinha at this stage. And you guys, the guys who listen to this stream regularly will know, big fan of Rafinha. He's just not on it at the moment. I cannot believe that I've sold him ahead of playing Norwich. But I also can't take away what I saw with my eyes on Thursday night. And I watched Norwich-Chelsea afterwards as well. I watched the whole game. And Norwich for Salah captain, love. Salah. Oh, God, I can't even spell. Salah. I told you that. Look at my team. I forgot my fucking fault now. What was I talking about? Oh, Rafinha. Yeah, I mean, they were disastrous. And yeah, Norwich, I was impressed with them for a good half hour, second half, actually. Chelsea had a kind of odd setup at the time with Loftus-Cheek and Sal playing as wing-backs. But Norwich had Chelsea a little bit worried for a period. And I've backed them to win tomorrow. I can't believe it. I can't believe how bad Leeds were on Wednesday. They were awful. Pushkar says that's what we've done. Will Bill says -8 to do Cancelo, Bowen and King to Tierney, Kuna and Laka. Worth it? Generally, yes. Are you free hitting 30 or not? If you're not, then yeah, definitely. Damien says, why Irish official FPL admin deleting all Russian players, FPL teams? Man, my friend was facing one in the FPL Cup round and today, like, he got a bye. One of our patrons, James Watson, who's, you might have seen me quote tweet his tweet last night. He's one of our patrons. He's a patron for the FPL Wives, patron for the Always Cheating Boys as well. He's a UK citizen who's been living in Russia for quite a while. In hindsight, he probably wishes he'd had an English flag next to him, but that's where he was living, so he's trying to win the Russian league. Okay, it's so harsh. And the fact that they haven't put a statement out or anything, I think it's bang out of order, to tell you the truth. I understand the decision making, just completely cut Russia off from the world at the moment. I understand that. But as I tweeted them, that's one of our own. So, like, I don't know how they could have put a warning out, but yeah, I'm not happy about it, to tell you the truth. There's certainly a danger in this. You know, these are Russian civilians, right? I don't suppose Putin's got an FPL team. He might do. I don't know. If he has, I suppose he's been deleted. But yeah, I'd also be conscious, by the way, if you got a Belarus flag, I'd probably change that. Ayub Salah says, hi James, maybe even a Chinese one as well. Ayub Salah, hi James, play 2 of Watkins, Jimenez and Breuer. I'm pretty sure they're all on the benching dilemmas screen. Yes, they are. Josh Hinchcliffe says, hi James, there's a -8 for James, Rafinha and Laka out. Do Doherty, Martinelli and Kane sound good to you? Would you do Doherty in this week and the others for a -4 next week? Cheers, mate. I'd get it all done now. I mean, moving Lacazette now is not ideal, but I actually think you're upgrading now. You're doing that to enable Kane, right? Is there a different way of you doing that? I'm going to guess probably not, so crack on. Emily Sissoni says, hi James, rolling through game week 30 with no free hit. Currently have 9 players for it, thinking Bowen to Kulu. Would you -4 for Diop to Doherty and bench Watkins, or leave it? Thanks. Yeah, I'll do it. Do it. Diop's wasting away for you. If you could get lucky and Zuma or Dawson could get injured this week, but yeah, no, I would move that, mate. Jonathan says, howdy Jimbo, only forwards up to 6.4 million worth a 1 week punt this game week. Please don't say Breuer the points dodger. No, the honest answer I'm going to give you is no, mate. Prioritise your transfers elsewhere. Pushcast says, when do you expect the rest of fixtures to be announced? Could we get any double game week news before game week 31? Yes, we certainly could. I mean, in theory, if a fixture is going to go into 31, 32, the one I've mentioned regularly is Burnley, Everton. I think it's a strong possibility for 32. Then in theory, we could find out any time. But it probably makes sense at this stage to wait for the FA Cup quarterfinals to finish. Then I think we can expect a raft of information. I would be surprised if there's no information prior to game week 31. But as I've said previously, I cannot guarantee you that the Premier League will sort their lives out in time. David Dobson says, hi James, I've already brought in Kane, looking at a -8. I have a Cancelo and Bowen out for Robertson and Saka, or Kilman and Bowen out for Robertson and Martinelli. Quite like that, Robertson and Martinelli. We discussed that on Black Box, that ideally that you go for Saka, but actually, if you need to make a little bit of saving, yeah, Martinelli's cool. So, yeah, I'd go with that second option. Andrew Gronis says, morning, James. Thanks for the best damn FPL content in the game. Like the stream, people. Cheers, Andrew. Much love, mate. Rob Picks says, bench 2 of Rudiger, Rafinha, Jimenez, Breuer. Good luck, mate. Probably all on the benching dilemmas, Rob, you know that, and I've seen your DM apologising, you're all good, mate. Rose Mendes says, hi Planet FPL James, how are you? Amazing, Rose, looking forward to what crazy question you've got this week. Can you explain your decision to take a -8, because I know that you are safe manager? Yep, this safe manager has now taken 60 points in hits this season, so maybe I'm not. No, I just think that's obvious aggressive play for me. I've got no use for Cody anymore. Effectively, in terms of my playing team this week, I'm backing Robertson to get 5 points or more than Breuer or Weghorst, which I think he does. Kulusevski and Saka in for Rafinha and Trossard is absolute improvement on my team that I can't guarantee has immediate returns. Someone messaged me and said, do you think you'll regret selling Rafinha? I said, ask me on Monday, because there's every chance I will. But if he blanks, then yeah, we're in. They've also got better fixtures, 31, 32. They're better assets to own right now. There's going to be so much more interest in Kulusevski and Saka over the next week or so. Their price is going to continue to fly as long as they stay fit. For me, it's quite straightforward. And I'd been thinking all week I was going to get one of them. And I couldn't really make the choice between the two. I think it's so difficult. The way I explained it was slight preference for Saka this week, but probably slight preference for Kulusevski 31 and 32. So, and that's what I need for. So, the question now is, will Kulusevski stay in the team for game week 30? Because I could end up going Kane, Son and Doherty on free hit, which I'll obviously think about. J.A. says, morning James, appreciate you have been asked to death about it, but on a free hit, is Reguilon better than Doherty? Probably yes. Probably yes for the free hit at the moment. But genuinely, as explained yesterday, explained on Black Box, it's difficult to foresee at the moment why Doherty and Reguilon wouldn't play both games. But I did express the possibility that obviously even Doherty could be used at left wing back. So don't look at Reguilon as a guarantee. We've seen Doherty play out there, which is bad. That's really bad. Removes him as an option, really. That removes both of them as an option. And I must warn, as I've done several times, if you go for the Tottenham wing-backs, expect pain. Like, I think Doherty is you can't be looking at Doherty going, oh, he's amazing until game week 38. Like, I would literally look at him and go, that's great for game week 29 and 30, let's reassess afterwards. That's generally my opinion on it. Josh says, triple captain Salah. My opinion on that is, yes. I think it's a definite for me for those who've already used the bench boost. I think there is a case for those who, for those who haven't used the bench boost. For those who have, there is a case to say Salah is highly likely to have a double in game week 36, and it will be similar in terms of difficulty to what there is now, so you could use it then instead. But I think for those who are looking to bench boost in 36, get it on Mo. Nick Jones says, hi James, great content as always. Thoughts on Maupay to Hwang as a cheap alternative to Jimenez to target Wolves double game week and run through 30. What Wolves double game week, mate? The double game week's gone. Last time I checked. They had a fixture added that I'm not aware. Wolves, on my predicted schedule, Wolves won't have another double game week now till game week 37. And there's every chance, by the way, that if Man City win their cup quarter final, that Wolves won't have a double game week at all, because the fixture could just stay in game week 33, which is a possibility. So there's every chance that Wolves don't have a double game week left. So I'm not quite sure your thought process of what you're targeting there. And no, I don't rate Hwang as an option. Paul Dixon says, hi James, love all the content you deliver us. Would you punt Saka or Kulusevski this week for a hit? Free transfer next week. As I said, I've just said it, slight, and I mean slight preference for Saka this week. But there's really, really not a lot in it. And Mankind says, hi James, hope you're well. With Coutinho and Cancelo, Saka and Robertson already give me -4. Is it a waste to take another hit to play Gordon ahead of Breuer? Thank you. I don't think Gordon is as nailed as everybody else does, because I look at it and go, how are they fitting Damari Gray back into that team? Now, Gordon's been great for them. He's the only player that got any praise from Frank Lampard on Monday. But what do they do with Damari Gray available? And he is now. So he might decide to go more experienced in terms of his lineup. I would not take the hit for an Everton player. Hamish Holmes says, morning chief, is triple captain Salah too much of a risk this week due to the possible risk of either him or key players at Paul having COVID? Is triple captain Salah too much of a risk this week? No, I would just do it. Birth Media, James, how do you see the United Spurs match panning out? So I will do my best to try and explain that to you whilst I'm making a decision on which goalkeeper I'm going to bring in. How do I see it playing out? I see Tottenham trying to draw Manchester United on. I think this game would have been much better for United if Solskjaer was manager. That's genuinely how I feel at the moment, because I think they would have tried to draw Tottenham on. I think it might not be the most attractive football match. I think we can definitely expose them on the counter-attack. I think McTominay's likely absence is probably a bit of a blow for United in this particular fixture. I think United have individual quality that can hurt us, certainly in the midfield area. But I really think it's a game that's well set up, particularly for Sonny today. And I think we can go there and win, actually. And again, the guys who regularly know I'm generally quite pessimistic on Tottenham. I fancy it today. I fancied it even prior to the results last weekend. I was saying 10 days ago, I think Manchester United fixture is a great fixture for Tottenham. So I'm confident tonight. Really, really looking forward to it. I don't expect to win, but I certainly think we've got a great chance tonight. Right. Goalkeeper change. What am I going to do here? So options are De Gea to Ramsdale, Lloris, Pickford, Dubravka, or Foster to Dubravka. Not an easy choice, because I'd really come to my peace with not doing this, and then it's suddenly -12. Sorry for that horrendous noise that you've just had to hear from me. Dubravka at Tottenham 31, Watford at Liverpool. I mean, that's not great, is it? United got Leicester at home, Everton at home 32, difficult 34. Dubravka's got Norwich. But the money it leaves me tight, I really don't like. Really don't like that. It leaves me 0.1 when I've got players like Breuer, Fraser. Will be extremely difficult for me to move on if I go that route. Not a straightforward call at all. And I'm not massive on Newcastle's double either. Chelsea away tomorrow, Newcastle away. What's my expectation? I don't fancy Newcastle for a clean sheet. But then it's -4 over a player that's not playing. So now it's a -4 effective over Foster. What am I expecting for Foster tomorrow? Probably 1 pointer. Does Dubravka get me 6 or more with a double? Does Dubravka get 6 or more this week? I'm going Dubravka for Foster. That's what I'm going for. Let's chance it. Martin Dubravka in for Ben Foster leaves me 0.1 in the bank. Confirmed transfers done. I don't think I've ever taken a -12 before. Ever. Ever. I don't think I've ever done that before. Right, let's make sure that saves properly. Because I don't trust this fucking thing, honestly. Right, Dubravka's now in the team. De Gea on the bench. Right. Okay. Where was we? Paul Dixon, hi James, love all the content you deliver us. Would you punt Saka or Kula this week for a hit? Saka. Nick Jones, hi James, great content as always. Thoughts on more? I think we've done these, haven't we? Sorry. Hamish Shums, Morning Chiefs, done that. Birth Media. James, how do you see? That's where I was at, wasn't it? Owen Boyd says, do you know any news on who's got Liverpool COVID case? The information I had yesterday, as of 12:30 p.m. yesterday, and it doesn't mean it's changed. My information yesterday was that no Liverpool first team players had COVID as of 12:30 p.m. yesterday. That there's a lot that can happen in 24 hours in between, but that was the information that I had. So I think we can only work with that. There's not been any strong rumours. I think that there's loads of us kind of keeping our eye on potential news at the moment. That's all we can do. Patrons, again, if you hear anything, Slack DMs please, and we'll have a look. Luke Fuller says, morning James. Good morning, Luke. Bart Spillers, Doherty to Reguilon to replace Reece James. My preference right now is with the cheaper player. Guys, if you haven't put questions in yet, there's zero chance of me getting to you before the deadline, and I'm not going to get to the majority of you, partly because I've had to fix my own team. FPL Najib says, hi James, Dean to Doherty and Kilman to Robertson from -4. I will have 9 players for Gameweek 30 and 9 players double, or just do the Dean to Doherty. Then I will have 8 doublers, 10 players for Gameweek 30. There's no guarantee that Kilman plays, is there? But it's a difficult one to sell. Can you sacrifice like a Rudiger or a Cancelo or someone like that instead? And then even look at a -8 of adding like a Kulusevski or Saka. I've just taken a -12. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. Renard 9 on bench boost. Would you transfer out Breuer for a hit or risk it? Would be for Tony. On bench boost, would you transfer out Breuer for a hit or risk it? Would be for Tony. No, I wouldn't bother my ass with that, mate. Rob says, I mean, arguably I'd consider Morpay. It's grim, that. Rob says, own Salah and Kane, ranked 12k. Still have triple captain left. Or do you know what? You want a really cheeky one, Renard? Welbeck. That's so dirty. Rob says, own Salah and Kane, ranked 12k, still have triple captain left. Am I daft to triple captain Kane this week? Incredible form, etc. No, not daft, Rob. If that's what you fancy, you crack on, mate. Preference for me is with Salah. Ethan says, Dan James out for Martinelli from -4. Already have Kulu and Saka. It's irrelevant. Just get him in, mate. FPL Glasto, morning. Feel free to lambast me for bringing in Doherty. I won't, mate. Renard 9 says, De Gea unwell. Apparently, yeah, we got that. If you've got any De Gea comments, feel free to delete them, guys, but I appreciate you trying to bring it to my attention. Adam Keener, yes, James, let's go. Will there be any blanks bigger than Game Week 30? Still not sold on a free hit, and this will decide my transfer today. No, 100% there won't be, mate. Game Week 33, I think you probably have 2 teams blank, and anything between sort of 2 and 7 teams doubling is my prediction for that game week. So no, it won't be a bigger blank than that unless suddenly there's a mass COVID outbreak again, which I can't obviously predict. Will Jones says, hi James, who would you play out? Jimenez and Breuer. Good luck this game week, mate. Personally, I still go with Breuer. I think he starts. Most Southampton fans appeared like they don't, so make of that what you will. He's at Farhan says, hi James, would you bench boost a bench consisting of Dubravka, Livramento, Rudiger and Breuer? Breuer and Liver is the ones that concern me. Yes, enough not to do it, I'm afraid, mate. Adash says, Holgate to Robertson for -4, having nothing in the bank. Good luck, mate. Yeah. Don't keep the Everton player for the sake of it, mate. Gary Warwood, good evening from New Zealand. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're well, mate. Luke Fuller, rumours of De Gea being ill. Yep, we got it. Andras Yames says, would you bench boost Sarr, Cash, Watkins and Weghorst? Have no wild card left. Nah. 2 Villa players away to West Ham. Nah. All players are away. I could comfortably see that being 8 points. No, not for me. Joe Marshall also has a bench boost dilemma. Dubravka, Rudiger, Kilman, Breuer. I feel like I've already done this one and it's a no, mate. FPL Planner, hi James, thanks for the content as always. Who would you bench out of Rudiger, Maupay, Coutinho? Maupay I would play, mate. I think he's the one that with the Brighton double I would play if I had, definitely. So Rudiger over Coutinho for me, mate. Seif Hamdi, hi James, what do you think, Martinelli or Odegaard? If you've been listening to me berate my wife during this stream, you'll know it's Martinelli. Hamish Holmes, Sky question, what transfers are you making this weekend? Starting to think I should have gone Aaron Ramsey rather than Gabriel last week. Hamish, I can't answer that because I don't know. Sorry, mate. I generally don't have a clue. The most likely if I make a move is Pope to someone tomorrow. But I haven't decided, mate. Mark Parker says, morning James, I won't be making any today. Patrick Lawson says, is it worth bench boosting with Dubravka, Breuer, Rudiger, Kilman? It feels familiar and I'm going to say no. Esan already on -4. Thiago Silva to Robbo for -4. No free hit left. Yeah. Shahid says, morning James, would you go Fraser or Rafinha on free hit, please? Thanks. Go Fraser, mate. Meninda says, is Dubravka, Rafinha, Breuer, Holgate worth a bench boost or worth waiting for another double? Would mean -8 rather than -4. I'm going to say no. That looks better than some of the other ones, but I think Holgate could lose his place, right? It could easily be Godfrey and Keane at centre-back for Everton. So, nah. That's a no, unfortunately. It's landed unfortunate for you. Pep Talk says, hi James, would you sell Rafinha for Saka for a hit this game week? Good luck for this game week. Cheers, mate. I have done exactly that. Hamish Holmes says, seeing rumours that VVD is injured. Have you heard anything legit on this? No, I haven't. Only that it was rumoured that him, Kanate and Thiago didn't have involvement in training on Thursday, but I can't add any information to that. I don't know if they trained yesterday or not. They might have been given a day off. I have no idea. Dubravka in for De Gea due to illness. Now -12. Ali says, hello James, what do you think of Ward-Prowse, Bowen, Dawson out, Kulusevski, Martinelli and Robertson for -8? 100%, mate. John Lauder says, hi James, thought you and Such were brilliant on Black Box, appreciate it. Do you think -4 is worth it? Cancelo to Robertson, cheers. Yeah, I think it's fine. Florentin P, hi James, should I plan bench boost with Dubravka, Mount, Breuer and Jimenez on the bench? That's a stronger one. Again, the only risk does Mount started both in the double, probably starts at Lille on Wednesday. You could easily have 1 pointers there for Mount and Breuer, couldn't you? Easily. Jimenez blank, and then you might even be on 4 points, relying on Dubravka to get you a massive haul. So unfortunately, maybe a no. But if you really believe Mount and Breuer starts, crack on, mate. Sumajit says, bench boost with Sarr, Rudiger, Breuer, Hwang. Don't love that. I haven't got Hwang in my predicted Wolves lineup tomorrow. I think Bradley Parker said the same. Thinks it's probably his turn for a rest. Again, you could be looking at 1 point. Breuer, Hwang. I think Everton score tomorrow. It's not great, unfortunately. SM, would you bench boost Sarr, Breuer, Watkins, Cody? It's going to be a familiar theme. I'm not big on it. I think most people who'd wildcarded last week and planning to do it should probably proceed. But I must be honest, the majority of these that are being sent to me, I'm not in love with. I think the better opportunity will naturally fall later in the season for you. FPL Red says, James, you're a genius and I love your work. Steady, should I play 8 or 9 and say free hit for 33? Or bigger upside to play my last free hit in 30? Oh, 8 or 9 in 30 is fine, particularly if you've got Harry Kane. It's fine. Don't stress to have 11, mate. In my case, I've got what? Kane, Kulusevski, Saka, Tierney. I'm free hitting, aren't I? Stevie J10, hi James, what's your view on holding Bruno for upcoming game weeks free hit? For he has good fixtures, alternative he can get rid now for -8 to Kane, already have Son. Look, I think if the door is open for Harry Kane at the moment, then you should go and get Harry Kane. That's honestly my opinion. Oh shit, I should delete that. Because I didn't sell De Gea, did I? Or did I sell De Gea? No, I sold Foster, didn't I? I've got in for Foster. Helps if you tweet it out correctly. The Twitter community go mad if I don't let them know what's happening. And not that I think anyone copies my team. Why the fuck would they? Mufasa says, hi James, love your work, mate. Would you do Rafinha to Kulusevski or James to Doherty and bench Rafinha Breath? I'd do both, mate. Personally. Prabish says, Watkins to DCL, Richarlison as a punt. There is a case for it if you're free hitting 30. If you're not, no way. Ben M says Cancelo to Robertson, definitely then maybe for -4. Trossard or Rafinha to Spurs like Kula, can't spell as Rush, thanks, legend. Give me your ginger from Sweden. Get him in. Get Kula in, mate. It's Decky, by the way. Get Decky in. Stan Sports, good morning, James. How would you order my bench? 8 Nori, Watkins, Alanga. Watkins ahead of 8 Nori. Luke Fuller says, morning, James. Gordon and Lacazette or Martinelli and Richarlison. The Gordon option. Alex Beale, hi James, bench Breuer or Jimenez. They're on the bench in dilemmas, mate. Premium player FPL, what do you make of the Breuer rest suggestion? Not in FF Scout predicted lineup. Would mean I hold off on bench boost. I think he plays, but I seem to now be in the minority thinking that he starts. Kirill says, hey James, is it worth -4 for Ramsey to Gordon over the next 3? Gives me 10 doublers this game, which believes me with 9 for... No, don't think it is, mate. I did honestly, the only player I'd take, Everton player worth considering a -4 for right now is Jordan Pickford. Aditya says 8 Nori or Dean, who would you start? Yeah, that's a more difficult one. Probably 8 Nori, but there's more chance of him not starting. But he was very good Thursday night, 8 Nori. FPL Tom Jones says, if you cannot afford Kulu, would you transfer out Ramsey to one at Odegaard or Martinelli? Martinelli the preference. And yes, don't mind that. Patrick Lawson, Havertz to Diaz for a hit probably isn't worth it for a 1 week punt. I mean, no. Although I think there's a concern about whether Havertz starts tomorrow as well. FPL Pulisic, -8 for bench boost with Breuer. A bit of a stretch now with his benching rumours. Alternative, just do -4 and not do bench boost. I think -4, mate. Mark Perker, well said, James, that my plan, Salah to Kane, Joel Bird, start Ward-Prowse or Jimenez. They're both on the bench in dilemmas screen. Simon Zorro, Saiz to Doherty for a second -4. Yep, crack on, get it done. Birth Media, Cash or Breuer to start 11. I mean, I would start Breuer. Big Boo, are FPL managers judging Spurs players too much on their 2 matches against relegation strugglers? Everyone beats Everton and Leeds. Spurs lost 4 of their 5 league games before those. Possibly, mate. Adam English, David De Gea out today. Might want to swap him out there. Come you Spurs, by the way. It's done, Adam. Riador Dead 69. Hi, James. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Would you bench boost Dubravka, Cancelo, Breuer, Rafinha? That's a better one. That's a better one. Because Cancelo and Rafinha have the ability to go off, don't they? That's one of the better. And to be honest, if Breuer starts, I would say, yeah, that's a do it. That's one of the best ones I've seen. So I'm going to say yes. Parshva says James to Robertson -4 means benching Breuer. Yep, Stan Sports. Spurs are a trap this week. People forgot they were terrible just 2 weeks ago. Son is enough for me. Were they terrible at Man City as well, mate? David Hannigan says, really liking Kane for captain now since Dean Henderson is in goal. What's your thoughts on the impact of De Gea out? Not massive. FPL marking Kyoto. Hi, James. Hope you're well, mate. Would you bench boost Dubravka, Rafinha, Breuer, 8 Nori? That's a little bit more risky than the other one with Cancelo, I think. So it's probably a no. Joel Bird. Hi, James. Hope all is well. Start Ward-Prowse, Jimenez on the bench in dilemmas, mate. Amen. I'm really tempted to triple captain Kane over Salah. I'm just too afraid as my overall is 35k and Salah can end my season if he massively outscored Kane. So the decision is yours, isn't it? Alex Beale. Hi, James. Mount, James, Lukaku and Ramsey to Kudu, Doherty, Kane, Saka for -12. Yep, do it. Get it done. Mucky Senna Gaming, Share or Rudiger, whom should I play? You go with the doubler, didn't you? Take a chance. James Geimer, Havertz to Saka. James Robbo for -4. Yep, get it done. Honestly, if you ask me Arsenal Tottenham players, get them in for hits. The majority of these are going to be yes. Simon Zorro, get rid of Dean or Saiss for Q. Q. Who's Q? Q. Is it Q Luzeski? That doesn't work, does it? I'd been Saiss. Ricardo Ammo, sell Cody or Dean to Doherty. Cody for me. FPL Tom Jones, if you could not afford Kulusevski, would I have done this one? Martinelli. Owen Boyd, I've already used my free transfer. Would you mind I take to get Kulusevski and Kane? Get out Son and Jimenez. No, I'd probably leave that. Alex Allegretto, good luck James. Smash a like all. Thanks guys. Yeah, smash the stream a like. That'd be appreciated. Therese Keeve, hi James. Thoughts on Breuer out for Hwang as he has fixture next week? Not keen. I think you might find more power there and possibly rolling. I don't think Hwang starts either. Sean Weng Chi, James, it is game week 29, not game week 28 on the top right. That's very true, mate. I'm going to sack FPL captain. Sean, obviously not. He's a hero. I can't change it. I do not have the facility to do so. So deal with it. And apologies. Owen O'Neill, hi James, best of luck this week. Captain Havertz last week was my best punt this season. Should I get Romero over Doherty for more certain minutes? Nah, don't bother with that, mate. Get the doc. Nickens says Saiss Dean for Doherty, Dyer, Davis. That's a Saiss to Doherty for me. Rohit says, what happened? Fancy foot. Gary. Himesh says, rumoured De Gea not well going around. J Vibe. Already did Kilman and Bowen to Doherty and Saka. Take another -4 for Watkins to Lacazette, Coutinho to Kulu. There's possibly a little bit of influence in terms of what you're doing. -30 there. If you're free hitting 30, then I think Coutinho to Kulu is even more attractive. Joel Bird, hi James, hope all is well. Start Wood-Prowse. Jimenez, how many times, Joel? You're getting muted, mate. Honestly, if you have an issue with that, I've seen your question like 50 times. I'm exaggerating. I've seen it about 10 times. If you have an issue with that, slide in my DMs on Twitter, mate, and I'll unmute you. You're blocking other people from getting their questions answered. Luke Fuller says, Pickford. James Garner, Havertz, the Saka, and James Robbo -4. Yeah, Johnny J is saying get Pickford. Ben Taylor, hi James. I have 6 players playing next week and already taken -4 this week. Should I free hit next week or try to get 8 players next week and save chip? Dawson, Doherty, Bowen, Kulu, Raf, Kane. I mean, it's not great. I'd be looking at free hitting next week and prioritise now. Harishikesh, sorry if I mispronounced that. Start St. Maximin, illness now, but has a double game week. Or Dean. The Newcastle patrons, we have seem to think, general opinion is that St. Maximin probably doesn't start. He doesn't fancy an away game, it seems, at the moment. And they have 2 this week. I think it's unfortunate. I would consider selling St. Maximin, to be honest with you. J Vibe says, already did Kilman and Bowen to Doherty and Saka. Take another -4, Watkins to Lacazette. I feel like I've done this one as well. Boring. FPL Samurai, De Gea out. Tom Campbell says, morning fella. Good man, Tom. Tom's going to be stepping in for Suj on our podcast on Monday before Game Week 31 while Suj is on holiday. Christian Lindstroff, does the Gea news alter your captain? No, I haven't considered moving it for a second, mate. Hurricane starts mate, I've had it once. I'm not going to see it again, am I? Manamino, Luis Diaz, Son, Salah. Why overthink? I don't know. You tell me. Curry LS. Hey, James. Gordon for Ramsey worth a -4. No. Vishal says, should we reconsider captaincy? Not in my opinion. Animal Lover, both Cancelo and Share are yellow flagged. Start which one? The one with a double. Neil Robinson, Gordon, Son or Trent, captain. I'm bored of Salah. I don't mind losing rank. Captain Gordon then, mate. In the bio it says, ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer. Rowan says, would you take a -4 to take out Kilman? What are you buying, mate? Simon Zozo, Saiss or Dean to Doherty for a second -4. Saiss, Matthew Locke. What's everyone's thoughts on VVD? Best defender in the world. Ross Johnson says, James, you're at your 40th party. Vardy, Foden, hold on, not quite there yet. Vardy, Foden, Will Smobone and your wife are there. The lights go out for 1 minute. When they come back on, who's stolen your wallet, groped your wife, and who's eating your cake? Vardy has definitely stolen my wallet. Phil Foden has groped my wife. And Will Smallbone's eating the cake. Muller Mane, Breuer or Bernardo Silva, which one to start? Bernardo. David Aluko, would you start Coutinho over Thiago Silva? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, yeah, I probably would, because I don't think Thiago Silva starts tomorrow. Right. Hirishkesh, you're another one, mate. So you know where my Twitter DMs are if you want to have the conversation, mate. But you won't be getting seen in this chat again. Jose Vargas was going to bench boost with De Gea, Jimenez, Rafinha and Kilman. Does De Gea news mean I should wait for 36 or take a -4? I'd wait because the Kilman as well. So, yeah, I think that's unfortunate. You probably wait. Gaddy says, would you bench boost Saar, Saiz, Breuer, Livramento? Nah. Stayed to Hoon. Hi James, is it worth it to go Tierney and Coutinho to Robertson and Martinet to shift double Arsenal defence to double attack? Who's I presume he's still got one Arsenal defensive then? I still think the defensive has it probably better than the offensive on the longer term. Not so much this week. I'm going to say no. FPL telling Josh, morning James, no questions here, just wanted to say, Sujin yourself, smash Black Box, very good watch, good luck with the game week. Thanks Josh, you too buddy. I think deadline's gone I think. Sorry guys. Oh yeah, it's long gone. Right, that's it, locked in. Sorry for those I didn't get to. Anybody who's got any non-FPL questions, smash them in the chat and I'm happy to go through them now. If you just came for the FPL, there's not going to be any more, so feel free to disappear. Smash a like on the way out, be good to see that past 200 number, would be really good. Have a great weekend, wish you the very best up your green arrows. For those who want the general chat, happy to hang around for 15-20 minutes or so, pop in your questions in the chat. I see a comment from David James. It's about FPL, so I'm going to skip it. Sorry, David, good luck this week. But thank you very much for your kind comments about our visit on Black Box. Welcome to the Planet FPL community. I really should have checked my DMs right there at the end, shouldn't I? I genuinely didn't realise it was so close to the bloody deadline. But I have not had anything shared. But I know David Hannigan's putting their VVD on the team bus. Oh, okay. Thanks for that, Ross. I'm probably not going to help you now. I don't know why that's stuck there, but it'll move back round now. I don't think it is stuck, mate. But okay. It will certainly move now anyway. Thank you, Ross. Oh, okay. Someone's just... Adam English just messaged me, said apparently VVD's wife had a baby on Thursday, and that's probably why I missed training. Sounds like a very good reason, in fairness. Congratulations to the Van Dijks, I guess. Right, let's have a look at some non-FPL questions. Actually, before I do, content coming up this week. Me and Suj will be back Monday, obviously reviewing the weekend. We'll do Friday as well, and we'll talk Palace, Man City, and the 3 games in the midweek. I'm going to Brighton myself on Wednesday to watch Spurs. No doubt Suj will watch Arsenal, Liverpool, so we should have good coverage from the midweek football for you next Friday. Tuesday will be People's Power Podcast. I haven't decided what yet. Versus Clash of Correspondents will be Bradley Parker and Andy Martin previewing Wolves versus Leeds in Game Week 30. Our Patreon podcast will be Q&A Monday. I've got a cute idea for something on Tuesday, which I think is going to be light-hearted and quite funny, about conspiracies in football on Tuesday is the idea that I want to do. Wednesday... because I see so many conspiracies knocking about and they just majority of them make me laugh, but I saw someone tweet something really interesting the other day and I thought he could make a good podcast out of it. Wednesday will be Tottenham, Thursday will be quiz, Friday will be our Game Week 30 preview. There'll be video content each midweek day next week for advanced tier patrons as well. If you would like to support our content, www.patreon.com/Planet FPL, because if you think, shit, I'm getting all this content for free, you might want some more that's paid for, or more importantly, you may just think, do you know what, I want to support Planet FPL and what they're doing. We're very thankful. If you don't worry, we still love you either way. And for the patrons that are in, thank you very much for your continued support. Right, let's have a look at these non-FPL stuff. Rory Reid says, remember to change the graphic to Gameweek29. It's gone now, isn't it? Shit happens. David Hannigan says, sorry, James, Konate is not on the team bus, but VVD is. Apologies. Okay, mate. Richard Saunders Irvin, haha, jobs are good done. Shifo says, one of the strangest transfers in recent years for me was Ramsey to Rangers, in my opinion. How was he doing there now? I don't really know, Shifo. I'd be bullshitting you if I told you. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Paolo Di Segil wants to tell us that Weghorst is scoring 2 in... I don't even know what you put there, mate. Southampton Neil Barnett 2. I mean, what is that? Weghorst is playing Brentford, mate. Mohammed Ali says, Lord Linden, who will be the next Manchester United manager? I think it'd be Pochettino. Yeah, I think so. Particularly if Conte stays at Tottenham. I expect it to be Maurizio Pochettino. Clyde Bickford says, did you make a goalkeeper change? Yes, I did. I brought in Dubravka for De Gea. No, I didn't. Sorry. I brought Dubravka in for Foster, is what I did. So De Gea's now on the bench. Dubravka's obviously in the team. Clyde Bickford, Rose Mendes, which players will you bring in on free hit game week 30? Tony, Barnes. To be honest with you, I'm not going to discuss that now, Rose. I think it's a fair question, but I don't want to cover any more FPL now. We are going to cover that sort of thing to absolute death this week because me and Suj are both going to be on free hit. So there'll be plenty of coverage for it to come. I have nothing set in my mind other than Harry Kane will be in the team. Like, other than that, I'm completely open to everything, and I'm not even going to think about it till Sunday night's gone at least. Wouldn't even think about it. Like Leicester players, I'm not even thinking about Leicester players really till next Friday. I'll make the decision then. Tim Lum says, shout out to Ben Crellin today. Yeah, here, Tim. Wish Ben well. Obviously, Ben shared last night that he'd very unfortunately lost his father. I did message Ben to say love, and I know so many within the community were doing the same. I know there is zero chance of him listening to this stream, but absolutely wish Ben and his family well. Sad news. Giacomo Zamboni says, if you were stranded on an island and could take one person and one thing, you have unlimited food and water, what would they be? I would take my son and a football. Straight as that. That's what I would do. I would take my son and I would take a football. Eamon says, hey James, do you think Kane will stay at Spurs this summer? I think it's probably more likely than I did this time last year. And at this time last year, there wasn't so much talk of him actually leaving. But I mean, I'd been screaming this time last year, he has to leave for his career. But at the time Mourinho was our manager, I don't think for his career he has to leave to quite the extent at this moment. Because I think, to me, it's undeniable that Tottenham will get better under Antonio Conte. He has done a few things to piss me off recently, but generally I'm a big fan of what he's trying to do. I can tell that the team's being coached properly. He's aware tactically. Really like Antonio. Could do without the whole mood swing drama shit that goes on. So I don't think it's a necessity for Kane to leave as it was this time last year. Plus, the reports over the last 24 hours obviously suggest City are going to go in hard for Haaland. And it's thought at the moment they've probably got favouritism, considering Real Madrid are obviously prioritising Mbappe by the looks of it. And I guess they might be in for Salah. But you can't say anything negative about Liverpool. I know. So, I mean, in that case, where does Kane go? Where does he go? I mean, he's not going to Chelsea at the moment, is he? Liverpool, I mean, they're stacked now, aren't they? Liverpool, maybe. Would Liverpool pay the money for Kane? I know Klopp's a big fan of him. I think if Liverpool suddenly did come up, then yeah. United, not convinced about. I don't think Pochettino going to United would convince Kane to go there. I don't think that's a deal breaker or anything. Well, they had a great relationship. I don't think that would be the deal breaker on Kane going to United. He could do, and obviously United are one of the clubs that could certainly afford to buy him. PSG wouldn't see it. Bayern, don't see it personally. Barca, Real Madrid, not options at the moment, I don't think. So it's looking more and more likely that he may end up staying. And I also think obviously his performance in the first half of the season were not good. And that may have already got people looking in alternative directions, because when you're looking to buy a player like that, it's long-term thinking, right? You don't just suddenly go in May. If you're Man City, you don't suddenly go in May. Should we buy Kane? Like, you know, they'd have been looking at Kane for arguably years and felt the opportunity was right. So at the moment, I think he possibly stays. It's worth noting as well, I did say this last year, I just want to check how many goals behind he is Jimmy Greaves' Tottenham goal scoring record, because he is beginning to close in on it. Record Tottenham goals. I feel like he's about maybe 25 behind, maybe 20. Let's have a look. What's he on? Oh shit. I'm not sure that's up to date actually. Let's I imagine top 10 all-time goal scorers, that'll do. 25 behind Jimmy Greaves. He stays one more year, he probably breaks that record when you consider cup competitions and stuff as well. And that would be a huge carrot, because once he's broken that record, he's immortal for Tottenham fans. JBL Sayajum, I second that. You guys were great on Black Books. Brought in Doc. Thanks, guys. Cheers, appreciate it. We really enjoyed that with Az the other night, and I think Az did as well. In fairness, brilliant. Look, incredibly tough. Nobody's better on there than Mark, right? I mean, the guy's a superstar, and hopefully Mark will be back on Black Box this week. We're big fans of theirs. I think the guys appreciate us as well. I know Mark definitely tunes into us quite a lot, and I've actually arranged to meet Az before Tottenham play West Ham as well, so it'd be nice to actually get the opportunity to meet him. Really enjoyed it. Such fun. Very different for me and Suj to do in terms of someone kind of putting the statistics in front of us. So funny when Az said to Suj to use statistics, and he just went, no. Deadpanned it. And I think, as said, it was nice for us to go on there and offer something different to what's usual for Black Box, because there's no rights and wrongs and stats and Grass FC and Analytics FC. Everyone's different, right? You use stats, great. You don't. I prefer to judge it on the football, which is, like, for me, part way. Obviously, Rafinha's gone. I've not even looked at the statistics on Rafinha versus Kulusevski or Saka. I wouldn't have a clue. I imagine they favour well for the player that I've bought, in all honesty, but I just don't. Enough from what I saw the other night. Forever QPR FPL, how is Gaffer going for you, mate? Not too bad. I didn't have a great week last week, and I think I dropped a bit. I want to say I'm about 150th, I think, but yeah, not going too bad. I think I'm sitting there with 15 doublers ready for sort of game week 40 to use a chip. Then that's the plan at the moment. Not going too badly at all, mate. Would be nice to break into the top 100. I feel like I finished about 60th last year, which I think, and that's interesting as well, because I obviously don't watch a lot of Championship football, but I've done okay now. I want to say there's maybe 10,000 players or so. I'm not sure. Dylan Ferner Rose says, make a world best 5-a-side team. Messi, it'd still be in there. It'd have to be. Modric. Modric on that second goal the other night, 36. Has anybody seen the video of him in the change room afterwards as well? Magnificent. It's about 3 minute long, posted by Real Madrid. It's Modric going around and like hugging and congratulating like every player in the squad, and then it's him sitting on the bench alone, and he almost looks like he's going to break down and cry and stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, Luca going there. Luca's never giving the ball away 5-a-side. Who do I want in goal? Who do I want in goal? 5-a-side. We want someone with a presence, don't we? I know he fucked up the other night, but I'm probably going to say Donnarumma, actually. Who else can we have? We'll have 5-a-side. To be honest, I stick Mo in there at the moment. Mo Salah. To be honest, Modric can just play sweeper. That's fine. We don't need a defensive player. We'll stick Mo Salah in there. And Tough. I'm going to say Neymar for five-a-side, yeah. Liberty taker, right? I can't stand the bloke, but yeah, I'll stick him in. Mario says, I did minus 12 hits in a row. Am I crazy? No, the FPL content's now finished as well. Shamil Galani says, hey mate, prediction for West Ham v Seville tie next week. I'm not sure if you're going to like what I'm going to say or not. Penalties. FPL Marsh says, if James could take one player from each of the bottom five, who would you take? Would any of them start for you? Okay. From bottom five, from Norwich. Crap. Can I just say as well, Max Aarons. Who's the biggest diver? Max Aarons. I don't know what's happened to him in the last couple of months. He's become one of the worst divers in this league. Honestly, you won't get it out of your head now. Next time you watch Norwich, watch Max Aarons. It's disgraceful. He's so bad at it as well. Honestly. I would take Tim Krul as a decent backup goalkeeper. Sorry. Watford, I would take Ismail Assar. Would he start? Probably yes. It'd be close with him and Decky. Who else we got in the bottom? Burnley. I would take Josh Brownhill, who I really rate as a player, and I think he'd be good squad depth. I would take from Leeds. I would still take Rafinha, I think fairly obviously, and yes, he would definitely be in the team. Everton, I presume that's the bottom five at the moment. Who would I take from Everton? Can I take Delhi back? No, not really. I would say Calvert-Lewin and no. Matthew Jondre says, surely Pochettino's getting a sack. Can you see him linked to United? I'm just answered. I think he'll be the next manager. Gareth Payton, brilliant as always. Thanks, James. Very welcome. Jose Vargas, with Chelsea's situation in mind, what's your favourite frozen food? Didn't we have this on the pod the other day? Ice cream. Patrick Lawson, what's the first thing you drink in the morning? Coffee, mate. I'm trying to drink, and I did again this morning, trying to drink black coffee at the moment. I've got to get sugar and dairy shit out of my life, saying that ice cream's his favourite frozen food. Patrick Dawson, that's what we've done. Lin Tian Bao, hi James. Always been impressed by your benching dilemmas. May sound like a stupid question, but how do you do it? List down the players and order them. Basically, yeah. So what I do with the benching dilemmas is I look at players in the first instance who have kind of good effective ownership, and question if they would be a consideration for benching or not. So Cancelo, for example, Crystal Palace away would not normally, but obviously with 6 teams having a double game week this year, is possibly a dilemma for some people, same with the likes of Rudiger. So then those sort of players obviously go in, whereas normally I would assume that everybody would play them. So in a week with doubles, you're obviously going to have stronger players on here than normal. I mean, God knows what I'm going to do with it next week, right? Next week is going to be like, there's going to be crap on there, isn't it? Marty Johnson, all these kind of things is going to be on there next week. But yeah, that's how I do it in the first instance. I obviously look through in terms of other teams, just little search of hashtag FPL on Twitter, and see who people are benching, and see if there's anybody that surprises me. I think, oh, you shouldn't be benching him. So then that kind of raises my awareness. Similar with the guys who posted teams on our Patreon Slack as well. Have a look through them. Any screenshots people have posted, see things. I think, oh, okay, that's an interesting debate. And then, yeah, quite simply that. I order them. So I'll have player and I'll go, would I bench him over him? And I'll separate in terms of, I won't go through every single verses, but generally I'll get a player and go, where does he fit in this order? Okay, he goes there. And yeah, that's how I do it, basically. Chris says Sky captains for the week. So it will be Salah for me today. Tomorrow, it probably is going to be Rafinha, I think. Monday for me is going to be Gallagher. Wednesday will be Salah. Thursday, I bought Fabian Schär on Thursday night for Max Kilman. I decided that if Kilman didn't get back in, and the fact I was going, I know this is weird, I just bought Rafinha and Sky. Rafinha then covered me next Friday night that I could sort the Newcastle problem there and then when I saw Kilman wasn't in the team. So I decided to buy Fabian Schär. So I think it's going to be Rafinha for myself. Cole Smith says Thursday will be share. Yeah. Chris is Sky Captain for the week. Cole Smith, morning James. Next week I'm considering Son and him as the Barnes and Kane. Any thoughts? My thoughts are, Cole, just chill, man. Chill. Barnes right now. I don't even know how I can answer any Leicester questions till next Friday. Shouldn't be making early moves this week. Just chill out now. Thomas' friend VVD and Kanate were filming for LFC TV, hence why they missed training. Do you think if they filmed for LFC TV, that's why they missed training? Sorry, boss, not training today. Got to do a bit of media. I don't think so, mate. Owie says apparently De Gea's got COVID, so Henderson will start instead. Yep, we got that, mate. Ray Crushy, hey James, who do you think will finish top assist in the Premier League this season? Trent. Trent's out in front, so why not? It's interesting, top 3 goal scorers and top 3 assisters in the league are Liverpool players at the moment. Excluding FPL assists, real life assists. Blake Young, hey James, love this week's Black Box, dream team. Thank you, mate. Rory Reid, aren't Chelsea fans and staff really being punished by the Abramovich sanctions? Roman seems to only want what's best for the club, whether he's involved or not. There's different ways of looking at this. For those who continue to sing his name, there is a case to say you get what you deserve. There's a case to say they've been complicit with the dirty money for 18 years or 19 years, however long it's been. And there's a case to say that Newcastle and Manchester City fans should be aware that at any point the house of cards could fall around them and they're in support of these owners and stuff. So, but I do have sympathy for those who can see the real of it. I don't think, like, I'm not saying Chelsea fans should have supported their club. You can't. Like, if Tottenham get bought by Qatar tomorrow, for example, I'm not going to stop supporting Tottenham. Of course I'm not. I'm still going to support the shirt and the badge, but I will come out and say, don't want this. And for those who have done that and, right from the start, like, don't want Abramovich and stuff, fine. You come out, you spoke about it. If you're speaking out against it now, fine. But and for those people, I certainly feel sorry. It's difficult to foresee, but obviously, if suddenly I got stopped going from Tottenham, I know how shit I felt last year not being able to go during COVID and stuff. So I have real sympathy with the idea that Chelsea fans can't go and watch their team in a Champions League quarter final. Yeah, I have, particularly for the season ticket holders as well. I genuinely, obviously, have real sympathy. With that, I think there's a case to say that might get changed and there might be a way to let them in and stuff. But it's a developing story that we're certainly going to stay on top on. Yes, I have some sympathy for them, but not all of them, to be honest. In terms of the staff, yeah, of course. But then some of their staff get the benefits of what Abramovich does, those who are close to him. Obviously, the people who just have their job in the club shop, and the club shop is stuff, of course, you feel absolutely terrible for them. Jonathan says, nice one again, James. Thanks, mate. I've seen this question doing the rounds lately. Who wins the Premier League first out, United or Newcastle? I can't see United win the Premier League next 4 or 5 years. It's not going to be easy for Newcastle. I think the answer would still be Manchester United. But to be honest with you, I think anybody outside of the top 3 at the moment needs City and Liverpool to start beginning to have a disaster for any of the others to have a chance. That includes Arsenal, Tottenham, United, any of them. Even Newcastle's money. Reality, how difficult it is to be getting plus 90 points. So, Leicester won the title with 81 points. You need it to open up to give everyone else the chance. Otherwise, it's not happening for any of them. To answer your question, though, I still think at the moment Manchester United is slightly more likely. Because if they get the right coach in, if they can change the culture of definitely something's wrong in the background there, and buy the right players, then they've obviously got the financial clout themselves to do it. And you may still find that Manchester United spend more money than Newcastle. For example, United have spent more money than anybody else on this planet over the last 10 decades. Football Observatory did that study a couple of months back. Nobody spent more money than Manchester United over the last decade. So they've still got the power. FPL Escapades, afternoon James, just wanted to wish you a great game week ahead. What's the weirdest football conspiracy that you've heard? I'm going to hold that because I said I might do a Patreon pod on Tuesday. I did come across a video the other day which, sorry, this is more one for the UK viewers. You'll probably know Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby on Good Morning Britain, This Morning, whatever it's called. I saw a video of these guys trying to convince them that the Earth is flat. I couldn't believe what I was watching. That's a very out there. Schofield says, so why has no one fallen off the edge yet, mate? Yeah, okay, mate. Weirdest football conspiracy. I don't know. Let me do some research for that pod Tuesday. But Asbestos says, hi James. Regarding Everton, how do you think with the current squad they have, what would help give them an immediate shot in the arm, whether it be tactical change of personnel not currently in team? They need to sell their big assets. I presume you're talking beyond this season. Or maybe you're not. How do you think the current squad they have, what will give them an immediate shot? And it's clear Lampard wants to play free at the back, but he's only got one good centre-back in Yerry Mina, so that makes that pretty problematic. They don't actually really have players that are overly suitable to play wing-back either. So difficult. I think a counter-attacking philosophy rather than possession-based. Look, they give City trouble the other week, and that's probably, if they can invite players like Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Gray, Gordon could all be really good on a counter-attack. Even Decore's box-to-box running. So I think they've, to be honest with you, I know Lampard gets a lot of criticism for tactically. On what I saw the other night, I was thinking about this. I'm not sure he's a good fit because actually he wants his team to play football, which generally should be praised. But actually, you do reflect on it and think, although they were right to get rid of Benitez, that type of manager in the short term was probably a better type of manager to try and keep them up at the moment. So honestly, I think you could call it negative football, but counter-attacking football. Everton need to play like a relegation side, in essence. Need to forget that they've got Richarlison's, Calvert-Lewin's and that, and play like a team that's dying. And they've got to defend for their lives against even the likes of Wolves. That would be my suggestion. And I actually think they might do that tomorrow. David Beaton says, any chance for 10-15 minutes on Scottish Fantasy around the time of the split? Possibly, David. Yeah, I mean, if I did, I'd do it on Patreon, which you are obviously one. Possibly. I'll give it some thought. There's only, 3 game weeks or so to go. But it's a little while, isn't there? Because it's Cup this weekend, isn't it? Rosemary, which other chips would you prefer being introduced next year, FPL? I'm not big on changing the game, to be totally honest. Oh God, there's bloody loads of you. Right, I'm gonna whatever I'd cover between 12:35 and now is what I'll do. Enron cover. Do you think Ben Johnson will play the rest of the season? That's down to Sufal, isn't it? If Poch does go to Man U, is Kane his first sign? Says JBL Sajam. Not necessarily. I saw him getting linked with Moussa Dembele the other day. Ragav says, hi James, always thought English football was always about the competitive spirit, rivalry, banter, etc. But still mutual respect for each other. The hate and mocking of Chelsea and its fans is shameful. Why is it, mate? It's going to happen. Chelsea mocked other teams for 20 years with the amount of money they've got, mate. Like, honestly, when you've been that good, you've got to accept it's going to come the other way. I do feel sorry for the fans that can't go and stuff, mate. But actually, those who are completely still in support of Abramovich are complicit with what's happened over the last 20 years or so. So, no, I mean, that you're a big club. You're a big club. You're partly a big club because of Abramovich. Because if he hadn't come in and saved you, you might be a Sheffield Wednesday now, mate. That's the reality. So, with the success of Abramovich's money, you have to accept it goes the other way. Do I feel sorry for Chelsea as a football club? No. Would I feel sorry if it happened to Man City? No. Would I feel sorry for Newcastle? No. Would I feel sorry for the genuine football supporters who stood up against the ownership of these people in the first place? Yes. So, you got to accept it's going to come, mate. You're a Chelsea fan. You got to accept it. Everyone gets banned. The bigger that you are, the more the banter's going to come. To call banter disgraceful? No. What's happening in Ukraine is disgraceful. Dylan Farrell says, Haaland joining City. Think you'll see one of your own breaking Shearer's record. Wow. Haaland, if he played for City for 10 years, would he break Shearer's record? He could do. Binaya says, Salah and VVD out due to COVID. Question deadline's gone. Joseph Robinson, Kane would not go to United. He wants to win trophies. Got nothing to add to that. Asul Balaji, what about Leeds made you think they were awful against Villa? I didn't watch that match, but thought they were very, very good. And they were good at Leicester. They were unlucky, mate. They were abysmal against Villa. They give up, mate. Honestly, give up. Absolutely clueless. From start to finish, the whole game looked like no idea what they were doing. Raghav says, also, why should we Chelsea fans trust a corrupt and incompetent government to find us the right owner when they've shown zero interest towards the club fans who employ? You shouldn't. That I agree with. Like, trust the government? Nah. I wouldn't trust the government. I wouldn't trust the opposition to the government. I wouldn't trust anybody involved in politics in any way, to be totally honest with you, mate. Should you trust them? No. It is what it is. Sorry. Keith says, Poch loves Kane and Kane loves Poch. Yeah, cool. Kane loved Mourinho, so I'm not saying he's the brightest bloke in the world. Blake Young says, can you give me some hope for how Watford could stay up? 2 weeks back, I could see a scenario when we got 11 points in the final games. If Everton, Brentford, Burnley, Norwich did poorly, it might have been enough. Yeah, I'll give you hope, Blake. If you win 4 games between now and the end of the season, that might be enough. And you do have good home games left. So it's not impossible by any means at all, mate. But I think the Salah injury, like the Adamida injury for Norwich, really bad. Raghav, I'm not doing any more on Chelsea, mate. I can tell you're passionate about it, and that's cool, and I wish you well, mate. Shifo said, this is how much I love you. I'm on holiday and watching your stream. What should be my next activity? Be horse riding or fishing or golf? Golf is probably the least threat to life, so I'm going to say that. Christian Ashley, Marmite and jam or Marmite and peanut butter? I don't like Marmite, so neither, mate. Christian Ashley, done that, mate. Once was enough, pal. Martin, it's Alisson and Verge, isn't it? I don't have a clue, mate. What no graphics did? I suppose the Liverpool team's out now. I should probably check that for you, shouldn't I? While I'm here. Let's have a look. Liverpool. Seagulls. Liverpool, Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho, Keita, Mane, Diaz, Salah. Well, what a surprise. Thiago's on the bench. Konate looks like the only one particularly missing. Firmino sub, Jota sub. Brighton, Lamptey, Cucurella, Dunk, Bissouma, Maupay, McAllister, Trossard, Alzati, March, Veltman. So, I mean, that could back three. It could play Cucurella and Veltman either side of Dunk. No Duffy. I suspect that's probably a back 4 of Dunk, Veltman. That's probably not good for them. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't change my prediction based on what I've seen now. I'd stick with 2-0 Liverpool. But Van Tilpagden, why don't you think Ten Hag will get the job at Man UFC? I didn't say that I didn't. I said that I think Pochettino will be the next manager, that's all. What no graphics? Did you ever watch Badil and Skinner's Fantasy Football on ITV? If so, what happened to Stato? I did, but wasn't it originally BBC Two originally? Angus Lachlan. I think he's. I don't know, mate. What happened to him? That was his real name. I'm not sure. James Morganson, give me a ginger from Sweden. He's our number 21. It's Kulusevski. And he's your captain, James. Very nice. Christian Ashley, mate, seriously, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? Why are you putting it in there so many times? And Mark says, I still want to know which team would you rather switch to if Spurs ceased to exist and you had only Chelsea or Arsenal was options. I wouldn't, mate. Listen, if Tottenham ceased to exist, there is no other team, mate. I'd probably go and follow England. Or I'd maybe follow a local team like Enfield Town. Like, I really wouldn't. Fuck that. David Hannigan says, Liverpool team for today. Yeah, FPL Escapades are hard. Cheers, James, eagerly waiting for the pod. Stephen Duffy, great content. Fairly new around here, but really enjoying it. What 3 players are you taking in at Spurs next season? Realistic targets. Well, we'll have Reece James on a free transfer. We'll have N'Golo Kante on a free transfer. And I guess we'll have Rudiger on a free transfer. That'll do. Brendan01, Chelsea fans are the last to complain about mocking. Or should be last. And Walsh, Bradley Dack back in Rover squad today. Might help the push for that playoff spot. Better considering my gaffer team is called Dack's back. Good luck. Greg Frost, Chelsea will be fine. Maria and Bruce will make sure they are sold to a good owner for sure. And Camsey says, are there any positives you took from Mourinho's time at Spurs? Yeah, when he left. Right, thanks guys. That's all for now. Hope you all have a great weekend. Hope your arrows are green. Good luck for the whole game week. Remember, if it's a shit Saturday, Sunday, you've still got Monday, Wednesday and Thursday to go. Hit a like and a sub on the way back. Thanks as always for all your support. Have a great weekend. Ciao for now.